What's up, guys? Welcome to the Nerd Talk Podcast, Nerdy Talk for Nerdy Fans. I'm your host, Rev the Guys, and we got joining us today on our Captain America review, we got Superfan K.
Hi guys. Sorry that no one can see me, but it's dark out here and I don't have like a light source or anything. So
It's all
uh,
good. Mostly people will be listening to the audio version anyways. They're not going to be caring what you look like. So,
works for me because otherwise people would look at this video and think that you're like, I don't know, speaking to a cult leader or something or Satanist or something because it's very dark in here.
to the mysterious voice in the background.
Yeah, I like it though. Mystery plays well with me. I think we should go with that.
So, the topic of today's episode is we're going to be reviewing the newest Captain America movie. Some may call it Captain America 4. Some may call it a kind of reboot of sorts of with the going on with the new Captain America. What were your expectations going into this movie?
Uh my expectations were kind of minimal, to be honest. I was interested in it only to see Sam Wilson, to see Anthony as Cap, and I didn't. We all heard the weird rumors and stories about the reshoots and everything else going on. Uh, I tried to separate all of that and just look at the movie, but I didn't have a whole lot of high expectations. I was at the bare minimum just like hoping it wasn't a train wreck, I guess is kind of where I set the floor at. And I don't think it was. So I suppose that's a win.
Well, I was a very much big fan of Falcon and Winter Soldier, so I had like
Hmm.
positive expectations going into it. And I really like Anthony Mackie. He's just got this kind of charm to him that like
Hmm.
a lot of other people in the MCU really don't. Like I don't think I could see a movie being led by the guy who plays Bucky. You know,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
there's like certain people that I don't think I could watch a whole MCU movie about. And I had like high expectations going into it because this is kind of the first like movie going into the next phase, kind of just after after moving away from that kind of end game stuff. Everything that we've had before was kind of still revolving around the impact Endgame had, and this is kind of like the first one kind of moving forward. And I think
Mhm.
I expected more going into it. Um, I don't know. I really I it's hard to get past some of the biases that I've had with Marvel because of how Phase 4 has been recently. It's just a
Mhm.
lot of hit or miss, you know. But I was hoping with the Captain America movies are usually good.
Yeah.
We've had two really good hits, and the first one was kind of like mixed between audiences. So I was hoping this one was going to be a big hit.
Yeah. Well, as
Uh,
far as a hit goes, I mean, it's not gonna. I the word of mouth is not great. Like I think it got like a B minus cinema score, which is like I think they said that might be the lowest score in the MCU, which is whatever my issues with the film is kind of crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie, but financially, I mean, if we're just talking hits, like it made almost 200 mil opening weekend worldwide. So it's not. It's probably not going to be an abject failure. I think
well,
is the
I
thinking.
know a lot of people were boycotting the movie because we had a black Captain America, which I'm not one of those people. I don't care who's playing Captain America as long as it's a good movie. But I did go. I did. It did help me support it a little bit that Captain America was black. You know.
I mean, yeah, I would. Are people unaware that Sam Wilson he did become Captain America in the comics and the source material?
I think a
Or
lot
did-
of people are ignorant to the stuff
oh,
that happened in the comics. You know.
yeah, that's fair.
It's like if you did a Spider-Man movie with just Miles Morales, people would go, "Wait a minute, when did Spider-Man become black?" Like the whole mainstream audience wasn't really introduced to Miles until into the Spider Verse. You know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, Black Captain America, uh, Chinese Captain America, which would right. I like you just if the movie's good, the movie's you know what I'm saying. Like
Right.
go check to see if the movie's good before you get into all that the minutia of the other stuff. But I get it. People have their own weird reasons for not watching something.
Now let's kind of get into the kind of negatives with the film. What I didn't like about it was the villain. I feel like the way they set up this movie. They kind of teased that Red Hulk was going to be the bad guy. They teased at like if you like get into more of the behind the scenes stuff that Serpent Society was going to be a bigger deal than they actually were. Um,
Mm.
so I think the leader wasn't didn't do much for me as a bad guy, and I feel like they should have had somebody like Doom if you're gonna do like a political thing and introduce Doom that way because you're already having the nations coming after the United States and stuff. I was thinking the entire time I was like this would have been a great way to introduce Latveria and Doom and all that and have them a part of the conflict with Japan. You know, you could have very easily
Yeah,
inserted that here.
yeah. I would agree with the thoughts on the leader. I wasn't a fan of his design. I said that in my video. His design just I don't know. It just kind of looks like they gave up halfway through. I'm not really sure like what was the thought process here. I saw some like maybe it was fan art or maybe it was something else of depicting the leader, and I was just like, oh, okay, that looks okay. He looks pretty close to what he. And then I see the movie, and I'm just like, what happened? What did you do? And then I don't know, like his during the movie, his motivations just kind of felt a little bit all over the place. He had people set up to kill the president, except he didn't actually want to kill the president because he's been feeding the president gamma stuff. And then it's like, I want to like destroy the president's legacy. So I actually want the treaty to happen, but then I'm going to sabotage the treaty from happening, like by leaking stuff
Yeah, it wasn't
to
that
the
very
Jap.
good of a plan, and I think Serpent Society was supposed to be a bigger role than they actually were, and this was kind of last minute
Yeah, it would have made,
inserted.
I think, a more interesting, like a more compelling narrative, and it probably would have fit the more like that little political thriller tone that they were going for at different points in the movie. Like, I just feel like the Serpent Society, you could have Sidewinder. You could even add an extra villain if you want. If you don't
Mhm.
think Sidewinder is compelling enough to carry a narrative or whatever, but have the Serpent Society and have their members be actual threats and to Cap and to Falcon. Like, I feel like that would have fit. The Red Hulk stuff, I mean, I like Red Hulk. I'm not even saying like like I enjoyed seeing some of the action involving Red Hulk in the finale. Like I thought some of that was pretty cool. It's probably just like because I miss the Hulk and like I miss seeing the Hulk actually like do things.
Yeah, be a savage.
Right. And so like he's not Hulk obviously, but I'm just like I missed seeing a Hulk that could like do a thunderclap and destroy a building, like
Right,
that.
right.
I missed that. So maybe I went a little bit easier on the Red Hulk stuff because I was just like, this is cool. I
I
Paul,
actually didn't think the Red Hulk stuff was that bad. I don't know why people are complaining about it.
no, I my only real complaint is as a comic fan is not really about like Red Hulk himself. Like I do feel like if you're gonna do Red Hulk, you have to establish and like distinguish him from Hulk in the sense that
Hmm.
he's supposed to be in the source material. Like he's supposed to have his own intelligence and his own motivations. Like the general is supposed to be very well aware of everything that's happening and he can like speak and stuff. So
Yeah, and
I was like,
I think they'll change that eventually because
Yeah,
There are rumors that he's supposed to show up in Thunderbolts. I don't know
that
how accurate the rumors are,
would
but
be interesting.
so
But other than that, I mean, I thought the action with the Red Hulk was fine and everything. I just also felt like the entire time, and I mentioned this, like Red Hulk is fine, but it also feels like this is a sequel to the Incredible Hulk,
right.
which would feel awesome if Bruce Banner and Jenna maybe were here, but like
Hmm.
they're not here. Bruce is not here, and I'm just the entire time you have all these whole characters coming together, converging in this movie. You have you have you have Ross's daughter. You have Betty calling up saying, "Oh yeah, I should have called after you almost got assassinated," and I'm just like, they're telling me Bruce is not interested in any of this. Like Bruce is just
Right.
like where's like the entire time I'm just thinking like where the fuck is Bruce? Would Bruce not want to like I don't know like show up here? Would he not have an opinion, a strong opinion about Ross, about the like at any point here? Like feel free, jump in. Like the leader, the same thing. I'm just like, there's a lot of Hulk characters here. You honestly could have had like Jennifer. You could have had her show up. You could have had She Hulk show up too, and have her like work it from like the lawyer side of things. Like you could
Mhm.
have. I don't know. There's a really good sequel to the Incredible Hulk somewhere in this movie, and the entire time I just could not stop thinking like it doesn't make that much sense that Banner and Jenna are not even mentioned.
Right.
Like, I mean, they're like Hulk is sort of mentioned for like breaking Harlem or whatever, but like, I'm like, where's Bruce? Does no one know where Bruce is? He's like retired, isn't he? You could get him. Like, how hard would it be? What's he doing these days? He's not doing
Right.
anything that important.
I had another criticism too with Falcon going into battle. Well, I guess he's Captain America now. Going into battle with Red Hulk and knowing Red Hulk was going to be a threat. Why now? He knows whether the Avengers are together or not. He knows how to get in contact with some like Rhodey and stuff like that. Why didn't you not go? Why didn't you not go in there for backup if you know he was gonna transform or something big was gonna go on? Like I don't know. That just seems like some ignorance to me.
The second that he began, because I understand that they wouldn't think that they didn't find out until then, I guess. But the second that he transforms into the Red Hulk or whatever and starts doing, okay, like I just feel like at that point, I'm more confused as to why Bucky just kind of like fucked off in the middle of the movie.
Right.
like, like it's the same thing. I was talking to my friend about it. I'm like, that Sam in this movie is basically going through the same thing that Steve went through with Bucky.
Yeah.
It's not very different. And then Bucky himself shows up for like a 3-minute pep talk. And then he's just like, oh, well, you've got important stuff to do. I've got like a fucking fundraiser to get to. Bye. And I thought it was hilarious because I was just like, wait a minute. You don't want to like stick around for a little bit? You'd probably be a big help in a situation like this. And
Right.
it's a situation you've been through. Like
Right.
you understand it. And he just kind of like, it's just kind of like that meme where your boss hits you up and is just like, "Oh man, we're understaffed for today. We could use some help." And you're just kind of like, "Yeah, I bet you could."
Yeah.
Anyways, have a good night, And it's just I'm just sitting there. I'm like, Bucky, you're not gonna because if he was there, if he was someone like Sam could call on for backup in that final fight, even that would feel a little bit more like I'd understand it more. Either way, I'm just like, yeah, you can get in touch with Rhodey. It's not like you can't.
Right.
It's not like you can't add like Doctor Strange is around. Come on, man. Like you guys know where he is.
Right.
It's not like he's hiding. Like even if these guys are not Avengers, like are you telling me maybe this is and they didn't touch on this in the movie. That's why I'm confused. It's like the Sokovia Accords are still in effect, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so does this mean like you guys have to go through a bunch of red tape and a big process just to call somebody to come help? Or does it mean like the governments, or like they can make that decision. They could be like, hey, let's call this hero up and send them your way for backup. Like you guys should be able to do that. Otherwise, I don't
And,
really
and
like.
with all that technology, you mean to tell me he doesn't have one of them on speed dial?
He
He could have
has
called
to.
them on the way over there, you know?
He has to. He should be like, listen, I'm gonna try to hold him that, like keep him distracted. I'll try to hold out as long as I can until you get here, and then boom, like he gets two guys showing up for backup, and you could neutralize the situation. As it stands, it listen, I can suspend my disbelief on a lot of things. It was very hard for me to suspend my belief about like Sam being able to take the hits from Red Hulk and like live to see about it. Like I understand,
Well,
like
they kind of explained it by saying his suit was made of vibranium. You know,
yeah,
it was absorbing the hits.
yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're coming from. You know,
I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the longer that fight went on, especially, I was just like, come on. Like, you guys can't
yeah,
get him a little bit of backup here. This is crazy.
right.
I do, I do like the fact that they once again have highlighted Sam and his like, like he doesn't have the serum, right? So he has to like find other ways to like overcome situations. But
Right.
like, damn, man, this is Hulk. Like, this is Red Hulk. This dude. Like he blew open the front of the White House with a clap.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. A little backup probably would feel warranted in this situation. Not you going one on one with something that can like crack open mountains. I don't know. I don't know.
And I think it was kind of setting up for World War Hulk, you know? And I think that's when they're going to try to bring the leader back in again, you know? Because it seems like it was trying to set that up here.
Would be nice. We'll have to see how they do that. I don't know how the distribution thing that they have set up with Universal. I'm not sure how that works, but there's no reason to me Hulk or like Banner couldn't have shown up in this movie
Right.
at some point. If you're not going to make it a Captain America movie, which it does not inherently feel like one,
Right.
then it's an Incredible Hulk sequel, which I'd be like, cool. I like Incredible Hulk. I'm looking forward to a sequel. Except there's some principal people missing here. Like,
It felt like Incredible Hulk 2 featuring Captain America.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. So I felt very conflicted about Sam and about his role in this story because it just kind of feels like he's not sidelined necessarily because he's still the main character, but
But it's
it
not
did not feel
focusing
like
on
they did
his
a
story.
service to him.
They didn't really focus on his story. They focused on Thunderbolt Ross's story and what's going on with him in the White House and all that stuff. And, you know, Sam was definitely shoved aside, you know, for other people.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Um, Another thing I wanted to highlight was uh, the misuse of John, John Carlos Esposito, who played Sidewinder.
Ah, yeah.
I,
Uh,
he just kind of comes and goes. He doesn't really play that big of a role. And I feel like it was such a waste to get such a big actor to not use him.
yeah, but it also goes back to what our thoughts were about the Serpent Society, how the Serpent Society would have been probably the perfect antagonist for a smaller, more contained Captain America movie, but when they had to reshoot and throw Red Hulk and all this stuff into the movie, whether it was planned or whether it was not, it just feels like the Serpent Society got cut down, and that's why I was excited when I heard he was first cast in the movie. I was like, oh shit,
Me too.
yeah,
He did a great job in Mandalorian. He was one of my favorites.
right. Giancarlo's been doing his thing. Like I'm excited to see him in a Marvel movie, and then it's like when I started to see the promotion focus more heavily on Red Hulk and stuff, I was just kind of like, you know what? He probably doesn't actually have a huge role in the movie. And then I saw the movie, and my worst fears were kind of confirmed because
Yeah.
he's in the movie for like 5 minutes. He maybe impacts one thing in the actual plot, and then we never see or hear from him ever again. And I'm just kind of like, why would you once again take like a great performer like this and just not give him anything juicy, anything to work with, you know?
Yeah.
And not to transition, but I felt similar about the actress. What's her name? Shira.
The one who played the Black Widow?
She played the widow in this movie.
Yeah.
Although obviously there are she also is playing a character named Sabras, and apparently in the comics and the source material, that's like some superhero from Israel that they decided to change. But then they didn't decide to change because it's like she's wearing her superhero outfit underneath her other clothes for like half the movie, and I can like tell when you guys swapped it out, and then you just decided not to do anything with it because she disappears in the
Right.
third act of the movie too. And I was just like, I'll be honest, I was not a big fan of her performance, but I also just feel like her character. I don't get it. Like I don't get why she set up to be such a big part of the story,
And,
and then
and
she
from what
just
I remember,
disappeared.
she is a Incredible Hulk character as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, she is. But
So
it's like she set up to be more important than she actually was. And
yeah.
then the movie was like, actually, we're kidding. She's not that important. And then I'm just like, okay, well then why would you make me like she's in here for like an hour and a half? Like make me do something. I don't know. Like give her
Make
a
me care
tragic
about the
backstory
character.
or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Give her a real like connection with one of the other characters. Something, anything. I would take it. And they don't do anything with her character. Her character is just there to like scowl at people and try and fail to do the Scarlett Johansson leg flips. You know
Right.
those beautiful flips that Scarlett used to do, where she'd like grab your head with her thighs and
Oh
like
yeah.
body slam you face first to the floor. Like what a great way to die, right? But then
Yeah.
it's like they try to do that with this chick, and the rest of the time she's just kind of like looking at you like she's constipated. And then it's like her actual character, they don't do anything with it. Like I would probably forgive the performance a little bit if her character was at least interesting or consequential, but
She
she
just kind of she's another one that kind of comes and goes. They don't spend a lot of time focusing on her.
yeah, she's just there. And
Hmm.
that if she was in the movie as little as as Sidewinder, I probably wouldn't even mention it. I wouldn't even bring it up in the video. I'd be like, oh, you know, that's whatever. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that she's in the first 2/3 of the movie. Like she has like 30 to 40 minutes of screen time, and I'm just like, you're not gonna do anything with it. She's just there. She just exists.
Take some space.
I saw some people suggesting that maybe her character could have been replaced with like Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know how like story wise, what you would have to do to make that make sense, but I would low key take it because at least Sharon Carter is a character that has real agency. Like we know who she is. We know what she wants. We know what her history is. We know that she has a relationship with a lot of the other characters.
And she's already established.
Right. She is. And like she's also again, no I don't know this other actresses and her situation, but like the actress who plays Sharon is just a much better actress. So it's like if you had, I don't know how you make it make sense, but it low key would have probably improved the movie a little bit
Yeah.
if you had replaced her character and put her in there, have her be a wild card. I don't know it, go nuts with it, but at least then I'd feel something. This character was on screen, and she was just like her line delivery was hurting me, and then I was just like, okay, but they're gonna like she has like a major like she's probably gonna help Sam take down Red Hulk or something. I'm thinking, and no, she just after that big attack on the helicarriers with the jets in Japan, I never see her ever again in the movie until like the very end, and
The
she doesn't.
very end, she shows back up. Yeah.
Right, I forgot she was in the movie at a certain point. I'm just like, oh shit, there she is. Oh, there she goes again. It
Oh,
was weird.
here she comes back.
Exactly, it was weird.
What are some positives about the movie? What are some things you really enjoyed?
Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie was exceptional. I feel like I don't know if he's ever like he's been okay with me as far as like as Falcon, and I really appreciated his performance in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But this is probably the best that he's ever been in the MCU as far as like just embodying that character and what that character is supposed to represent and what that character can represent for the rest of the MCU going forward. Like I thought Anthony Mackie was terrific, and I thought if you wanted a movie to establish like what his Captain America stands for, and more importantly, like should his Captain America be the leader? Like should he um the leader of the new Avengers? Like should his character is his character somebody that you would want to follow, that you would want to believe in? I feel like his Captain America answered all of those questions
And
tenfold.
I could see him leading an Avengers team,
Yes,
and and
I
and
I
and,
had questions
and,
about that.
and I'd like to see him if he leads him struggle to get everybody to follow him as a leader, because you're gonna have people like Rhodey who are military who might want to lead as well and not take orders from him. So it would be interesting to see the dynamics from other Avengers if they would follow him. You know, does that make
Yeah,
any sense?
and probably in the back of their minds it's kind of like, well, everybody else has something special about them, probably on the team, except for like back in the old days when it was like Widow and Hawkeye or whatever. Like they're
Mhm.
probably looking at it like we're supposed to follow this Cap, but Steve was borderline superhuman. Like he could do things that other humans could not do. So he
Yeah,
fit in a little bit. And you're just a man. A man in a nice suit, but you're still a man. So that could be an interesting thing they do, but I just if you wanted to establish Cap, like him as Cap, like and really like get behind it, where like his empathy and the way that he tried to lead by example in this movie, like I just feel like I had questions about whether or not Sam, not Sam, Anthony could really like put his mark on that character to the point that he would be somebody that we could go forward and really accept as Cap without people in the back of our minds going like, okay, but yeah, but but Steve, like, where's Steve at? Right?
right.
Like, cause that's going to be like I feel like he established his Cap enough to where if I went forward into a new movie, I wouldn't be thinking about that. And I feel like that's how you make the role your own. And I thought Anthony Mackie,
And he had very strong leadership qualities. He embodied the moral integrity and leadership that's associated with Captain America, and
Mhm,
and he really showed evolution and depth with his character during
mhm.
this movie.
He did, and I also like that we got to see a little bit of him without his shield, without his gear. That attack by Sidewinder.
Oh man,
Uh,
that was awesome. I love that.
yeah, I like seeing a character like Sam have to try to figure things out without having, and that's another like like it does add that everyman quality to it, where it's like Steve, you knew Steve could do incredible things, because
Right,
he had some kind of power, maybe not full hours maybe, but like he had that serum. So he was enhanced in every way.
right,
Whereas Sam is just he's a man and he's not enhanced and he has to kind of like figure out his way out of these type of scenarios, these type of situations without having that in his back pocket. I I don't really care for the fact that we had to rehash the same thing that we learned in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where it's like
well, you got
Sam
to
was
remember, not a lot of people watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know,
yeah, that's true. That's what my friend said. He was just like, well, they probably are trying to make up for the fact that not a lot of people watched, or maybe not as many people would watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I was just
right.
like, yeah, for somebody that did, it feels kind of irritating that I have to watch him basically go through the same exact, like, oh my gosh, I don't have the serum. How do I do this? and, and Bucky throwing up, going like, "Hey, man, just do your thing. Like, you don't have to be Steve to be great. Blah blah blah. You don't need the serum. You're a good man. Okay, enjoy the rest of your mess." Like I said, fundraiser, really important fundraiser. They can't wait for the rest of the movie. I got to go there. So we're cool. Okay, we're cool. Um,
Yeah,
but either way, like if there's one thing to praise about this movie beyond a doubt, it is Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie was great.
I agree. I think it was a lot of rehashing, but to their credit, I don't think a lot of people had saw Falcon and Winter Soldier, so
Yeah,
I think it was
yeah,
kind of necessary. Um, Another thing I want to touch on that I really enjoyed about the movie was the action scenes, particularly the
mm,
one where they were fighting the planes. Um,
yes, yes,
Anthony Mackie's fighting style, utilizing the wings, it offered a fresh and engaging perspective on superhero battles we haven't seen in probably a long time in these
yes,
kind of movies.
yes. And not to bring it back to Steve, but it's like when you saw Steve Rogers show up in an Avengers movie or a Captain America movie, you knew you were going to see Cap do some really cool shit, right?
Right,
Like you just knew. You just knew. You're watching the Winter Soldier, and the first scene of the movie, he's like bodying these dudes. Like he's like he's throwing his shield at weird angles. He's doing incredible like ninja shit. And then
right,
it's like for Sam, you have to find a way to make his Captain America cool like that. Where it's like, okay, yeah, this guy's a badass. He's gonna be able to get the job done. And that entire sequence with the jets and the helicarrier and what Sam and Falcon were doing, like that is aerial combat at its best.
right.
Like that shit was clean. Like I loved it. I was that was probably the best action sequence of the entire movie for real.
I think it's top 15 easily best superhero fights.
Oh wow, top 15. You've put some
Top
thought into
15.
it.
Yeah, I've seen the movie twice
Oh,
so
cool.
far, and I think that's one of my favorite scenes. I mean, that and them fighting Red Hulk. I really liked the fight between him and Red Hulk. It ended a little too quick. I feel like there wasn't a lot of resolution with it, but I did enjoy the initial fight.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I haven't put as much. Like I'd have to think about it, man. There's been a lot. There's been like a shit ton of superhero movies over the decades, and
I wouldn't say it would be top 15 superhero movies, but I'm saying that particular fight.
oh, for just like the MCU or something, like I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't put any thought into ranking it, but maybe I should now.
Yeah,
I should probably think
it would
about it.
make a good future video for you.
Yeah, good idea, good idea. Maybe I will.
Overall, what are your kind of like final thoughts on the movie? What would you kind of rate it?
Final thoughts. I am a little bit mystified at the negative reaction I've seen. The B minus cinema score. I may not have been in love with the movie, but I don't think it's that bad. Like some people, I've seen people, and maybe it's just social media. Maybe it's just my bubble. But I've seen some people like say it's like one of the worst movies in the MCU, or it's like, oh, the MCU is still struggling, and I'm just like, I I don't really see it because I actually enjoyed this movie a lot more probably than the recent MCU movies. Like I enjoyed this movie more than Ant-Man and the Quantumania, right?
Oh, absolutely. I can't
Like
stand any Ant Man movies. I'm not.
right, like I don't think it's that bad, man. I don't think it's amazing or great or anything either. Like I have my issues with it, but I definitely think it's an entertaining watch. It's worth the watch, especially if you're an MCU fan, and hopefully the storyline going forward, which is Sam needs to recruit the new Avengers.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you gotta these ever since Endgame, it feels like the MCU has kind of struggled to regain that momentum, and they've tried building. They were trying to build the multiverse saga, and then Jonathan Majors kind of threw a big wrench into that, so they had to kind of pivot and go in different directions. And it feels like we're just kind of drifting through these comic book movies in the MCU now, and the momentum hasn't been reestablished. People don't understand what they're building towards anymore. And there have been a lot of characters and movies that have been announced, and we haven't gotten a lot of traction on them. Like, remember Shang-Chi?
Yeah, wasn't there supposed to have a sequel that just got canceled?
Yeah, that thing came out 5 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Where's the sequel? Like, Doctor, we had to wait for a lot of things. So it's like, hopefully, Cap building the new Avengers and just in time for a new threat for Doctor Doom, is another video for another time, another pod
Man,
for another time.
they're missing the ball with Doctor Doom. They should have been introduced him already.
Yes.
Like, there's so many opportunities you could have just thrown him in, even if you were just building him up as like little cameos and stuff. Like, there's like plenty of opportunities that you could have had him in. Um,
And that's not even my biggest issue with it, but I agree 100%. And but hopefully there is a tiny bit, a little bit of like forward momentum now. I enjoyed my time, although I can't highly recommend the movie. I think I gave it like a 2.5 or a 3 out of 5. I'd have to go back. I don't remember what
that's
the
okay.
rate.
I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. So,
Yeah, that's solid. That's not that far off from me.
but well, I'll say this: while it isn't my least favorite MCU movie, it is my uh least favorite Captain America movie.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I think the other ones are all either good or great. Like, I think
Yeah,
this one, I would probably say parts of it are good, and I stopped just short of like overly praising it. But again, the movie's not offensively bad, like some people have tried to like say. And the B- thing
right.
is
It's
on the
really,
cinema score is
really
really
when I went in to go see it, and after hearing all the negative press, I was shocked about how much I really enjoyed it, and really enjoyed the action scenes, and really enjoyed getting to see Anthony Mackie's Captain America shine. You know, um,
yeah.
it it's gonna go under an underrated as an underrated movie eventually because people are gonna be like, oh, it's really not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Well, as the wife of my imaginations, Zendaya once said, uh, expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed. And
I love
I
Zendaya.
I low key, yes, I low key think I low key think my lower or neutral expectations on this kind of had me coming out of it thinking more positively about it because I just kind of let go and I was just like whatever happens happens. And then I saw the movie and I was like, oh, you know, that that wasn't that bad. What are you guys talking about? Why are you guys so angry? It's not that bad. It's solid ish.
I think most people are just complaining because we got a black Captain America. You know.
Could be, or it could be that people's brains have become fried since Endgame, and they don't know how to properly evaluate these movies anymore. Like it's just always got to be everything has to be either the greatest thing you've ever seen, or it's trash and it's not worth like talking about. The nuance, and this is just film criticism in general, is gone. But especially for the MCU, it feels like the MCU is being judged fairly or unfairly by its previous success, and it's caused people to like not understand when there's just kind of an okay movie sitting in front of them, and
Right.
instead it has to be like, no, since it's not like the movies that were in phases 1 through 3. That means it's terrible. And I'm just like, you guys know that phase 1 through 3 also had movies like this. They had movies that were not like
Yeah, like Thor: The Dark
masterpieces or
World.
amazing. Right. I'd rather watch this than Thor the Dark World. Come on, like Thor the
Yeah,
Dark World
absolutely.
wasn't that good. So
I agree with you.
yeah, I think it's a solid movie. I'm it depends on if somebody in my family hasn't seen it, they might drag me to see it again. I wouldn't mind, but I think like I said, I think let's hopefully this can establish some good forward momentum. I think Marvel just needed they need some kind of a hit, right? Something that's going to be like people want to see this. And I don't know about the word of mouth for this movie, but It had a pretty solid opening weekend, to almost 200 million globally. So hopefully this thing can leg out a little bit and get to like 450 ish. That would be pretty awesome. And hopefully, I'm looking forward to the Thunderbolts, and hopefully they can continue to build something. Like
I'm
get
excited
back to
about
building.
Thunderbolts.
I am too. I am too. Especially to see Sentry. I have waited a long time to see Sentry in live action, 25 years, in fact, and I'm interested to see how they handle that character. Although it looks like he's also going to be the Void in the movie, so we'll see. It'd be fun.
Yeah, 200 million worldwide.
Honestly, that's not bad. If you had told anybody going into it, even with the negative word of mouth, like that's what they would get, I'm pretty sure most people would take that. I'm sure Anthony Mackie and a lot of his people would take that too. So I hope he knows that a lot of
Right.
people think he's good.
Hey, it did better than the movie I was in, so. Uh, but that's kind of our final thoughts on the movie. Thank you for coming on to the show. I've been wanting to get you on here for a while. I'm glad we were able to make this work today.
Yeah, this was dope. This was fun. Again, sorry I couldn't. I'm in a dark spot in my, and I'm not home yet, so I don't really have access to the full camera or whatever. But yeah, in the future, if you ever want to invite me on to shoot the shit, talk things up, I'm your guy. So
All right,
just
tell
let me
my
know.
fans where they can find you. We're social media. Plug your stuff.
You can find me on YouTube at Superfan K. That is the name of the channel, Superfan Space K. I do all kinds of videos there, movies, TV shows, some trailer stuff. And you can find me on, Facebook under Hannibal Miller. A lot of really weird posts and corny jokes and stuff like that. You'll find that there. I'm also on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, superfan underscore K, at superfan underscore K. You can find me there. So I'm around. Just look me up.
And you can find all our podcasts and stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, under the Nerd Talk podcast. And I'm there. So thank you for coming on. And until next time, I've been your host, Remington Kai, signing out. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you